Good morning, class. I had given you the task of reading the first part of the chapter. The name of the chapter is Two Stories About Flying. Two Stories About Flying. This is the name of the chapter which we will start today. And I had asked all of you to read the first part of the chapter. The name of the first part is His First Flight. Before I start this chapter, just try to recall those experiences when you did something, you did some work for the first time in your life. Whether it was standing up straight when you were very small, about maybe 1.5 years old. I am very sure you will not remember that experience. But suppose you went to the stage for the first time, taking part in any elocution competition, taking part in a debate competition, or taking part in some dramatics competition in your school, reciting a poem in a class test, speaking out for 1 minute on any topic given by your teacher. Recall any such experience, and when you will think about it, you will recall that when you do something for the first time in your life, what is the first thing which comes to your mind? Because there are very, very few people in this world who are 100% sure in the first instance only that whatever they are planning to do, they will do it with utmost success. Generally, the first thought that comes to our mind is, will I be able to do it? Will I get success? Suppose I get stuck in that work, then who will help me? What will I do? Should I do that work? Should I undertake the work altogether or not? Or should I refuse? Should I tell my teacher? Should I tell my friend that I can't do it? Please don't give it to me. Some children, some people also, I should not confine this to children only. Some people are courageous. They have willpower. They have determination. And they think that whatever difficulty they will face, they will take that difficulty as a challenge. They take up that difficulty as a challenge in their life, and they try and undertake that task with full willpower, determination, and they are successful also. Those who are afraid, there are 3 categories of people. The first category, as I told you, which is a rare category, is that as soon as the person gets the task, he starts the task. He is not afraid. He is confident within himself that he will be able to do it. But such people are rare. The second category is normally found everywhere. Generally, we find such people everywhere. You are also in that category. We are also in that category. Normally, you will find people lying in the second category. That is, when a task is given to them, when a new task is given to them, they are a little nervous. Maybe they will not show their nervousness. They will not show their feelings because they want to hide their nervousness. They don't want to portray in front of the world. But they are nervous within. They lack a little bit of confidence, and there are several questions which they can ask themselves. Should I undertake the work? If I start the work and if I face some problem, then what? Who is going to help me? Will my parents help? Are my parents going to be there? Because suppose you are taking part in any competition which is going to be held in your school or in inter-school competition, then your parents are not going to help you there. Even your teachers are not going to be helping you there. You will have to face the situation yourself, handle the situation yourself, and accomplish the task using your determination and your willpower. So you will have several doubts in your mind. Should I take up that task or not? Will I be successful or not? If I am not successful, then what will happen? Will the people make fun of me? Will my parents scold me that you did not put in your 100% effort? The teachers will also say that you should have done this, you should have done that. Everybody will start blaming me. Now, in this situation, Again, there are two categories of people. First category is who will withdraw. No, I will not be able to do it. Let me withdraw. They will go and tell the person concerned that please give this task to somebody else. I think I am not confident enough. But there is a second category who will answer to all questions on his own and say to himself that no, I have got this chance, I have got this opportunity, let me try. And this willpower, this determination, this self-confidence is the key to success. When a person has strong willpower, determination, and the ability, he knows that he has the ability to do the thing. His strong willpower, his self-confidence and determination will help him to overcome all obstacles that come in his way. He will say that come what may, I will do it. I will face all challenges, because unless you face any challenge, you will not be able to achieve your goal. You will not be able to achieve success. I have told my children also in the class several times that you are in a school just now. When you will leave the school and enter the college, different colleges, maybe in Lucknow or elsewhere, when you will go out into the world, when you will step out into the world, then you will realize that what shortcomings you have to face, what problems you have to face, because everywhere you will not go with your parents, everywhere your teachers are not going to be there to guide you, to help you, because when you are in a university or when you are appearing in any interview after qualifying the written test in any competition, there nobody is there to guide you, children. Your guide will be your parents, will be your teachers, but there where you are facing the situation, there in front of all outsiders, in front of all unknown people who are going to judge you, who are going to take your interview, there you will have to use your judgment, you will have to use your discretion. And those who are brave, those who are courageous, those who are determined that what I have planned to do, I will do it. Those who have strong willpower and self-confidence. Self-confidence is very important. You should be confident in what you are doing. Everybody fears, everybody has some drawbacks, everybody has some kind of lacking of confidence at some point of time in life. But you should be able to control that. You should be able to overcome that fear which is there within you. And those people who are self-confident, they will tell themselves at that crucial time of testing that no, I will be able to do it. And they are the people who qualify all exams. They are the people who overcome all difficulties. They face all challenges. They overcome all challenges and finally reach their goal. So in this chapter, the first flight, if you have read the chapter, you must have seen that this chapter is about a seagull who is trying to fly for the first time. And how afraid is the seagull? The parents are encouraging the seagull. The seagull is seeing his brothers and sister also flying. He also wants to fly like everybody, like his brothers and sister, like his parents. But there is fear within. That fear is stopping the seagull to take a step ahead and start flying. But after all that fear, after facing all that fear, after overcoming all that fear, finally the chapter ends with a positive note that the seagull flies and flies confidently, or overcoming all obstacles, overcoming all fear, and starts flying with confidence like his parents did, like his brothers and sister did. So let us start the chapter. The chapter is a very nice one with a very good moral. As I've just told you, the moral is that unless and until one has self-confidence, willpower and determination, no success can be achieved. So, in order to achieve anything in life, one must have to overcome all fear within oneself, and one must have strong willpower, strong determination and self-confidence. So now let us start the chapter. I will tell you the word meanings also side by side. I will explain the paragraphs also simultaneously, and later on we will do the question answers. Let us start. His first flight. The young seagull was alone on his ledge. Some meanings are given on the right hand side, children. I am reading again for you. You must have read them once when you read the chapter. A ledge is a narrow horizontal shelf projecting from a wall, or here a cliff. That means that part of you can say it can be a mountain or a rock, some part of a projecting part of a mountain or a cliff where the bird can sit. This ledge you can see at your homes also. That projecting part, every house has a projecting part outside their homes where birds can easily sit. So any narrow horizontal self-projecting part of a wall or of a cliff is called a ledge. The young seagull was alone on his ledge. His two brothers and his sister had already flown away the day before. He had been afraid to fly with them. Somehow, when he had taken a little run forward to the brink of the ledge, what is brink? Brink means edge. He had been afraid to fly with them. Somehow, when he had taken a little run forward to the brink of the ledge and attempted to flap his wings, he became afraid. That means in the starting we are reading that the seagull was sitting alone on the ledge, on the projecting shelf of the cliff, which you will see later on. There are pictures also in this lesson and you can easily see where the seagull is sitting. And his two brothers, the two brothers of the seagull and one sister, they had already flown away the day before, but the seagull was afraid to fly with them. So although he tried a little bit to take a little run forward to the edge of the ledge, to the brink of the ledge, and attempted to flap his wings in order to try to fly, but he was afraid. He became frightened, so he did not fly. The great expanse of sea. What is expanse? A wide area, a vast area is called expanse. The great expanse of sea stretched down beneath. The seagull was sitting at a great height on a cliff, on the edge of the cliff, and as he saw down, what did he see? He saw a vast area. Wherever he saw, he could see only a vast area filled with water. What was that? It was the sea. The great expanse of sea stretched down beneath, and it was such a long way down, miles down. That means the cliff was at a great height, and the distance, the height between the cliff and the sea was great, and he could see that the sea was miles down the cliff. He felt certain that his wings would never support him. That means as soon as he saw down, the seagull saw down and saw the vast expanse of the sea, what was the first thought which came in his mind? He thought that he will never be able to fly. His wings will never support him. So he bent his head and ran away back to the little hole under the ledge where he slept at night. So, what is the feeling at this time? The seagull is disappointed. He is disappointed and feels that his wings are never going to support him. He will never be able to fly like his brothers and sister have done a day before, like his parents can do. And disappointed, he went back and rested in that hole where he spent the last night. Even when each of his brothers and his little sister, whose wings were far shorter than his own, ran to the brink, brink is the edge, I am repeating, flapped their wings and flew away, he failed to muster up courage to take that plunge which appeared to him so desperate. Pay attention, I am reading this again and then I'll explain. Even when each of his brothers and his little sister, whose wings were far shorter than his, that means the brothers and sisters had shorter wings as compared to this seagull, ran to the brink, flapped their wings and flew away. So the writer is saying that the seagull feels that my brothers and sister, they have shorter wings, but still they had the courage to run to the edge. They flapped their wings also and they flew away. He failed, the seagull failed to muster up courage, to gather courage and to take that plunge. To take that plunge means to dive, to jump from the cliff where the seagull was sitting, jump and dive into the sea, the vast expanse of the sea. Flapped their wings and flew away. He failed to muster up courage to take that plunge which appeared to him so desperate. He was so desperate. Desperate here means that he was in a hopeless condition. He had lost all hope. All hope of what? He had no hope of being able to fly. He thought, the seagull thought, that I will never be able to fly like my brothers and sister are doing, like my parents can do. My wings will never support me. So at this point of time, the seagull is sitting on the cliff, disappointed. He is disappointed and he is thinking that although my brothers and sister who had shorter wings, they could flap their wings and fly away, but this seagull could not muster up courage, could not gather courage to dive into the sea and start flying, have the courage to fly. He did not have this courage at this moment. His father and mother had come around, calling to him shrilly. Shrilly means in a shrill voice, in a loud voice. His father and mother had come around, calling to him shrilly, upbraiding him. Upbraiding, children, the meaning is given here, scolding him. The parents earlier, they encouraged him, but if you must have also seen that if you keep on losing hope, your parents are asking you to do some new thing, they are encouraging you again and again, they are telling you that you can do it, but still you feel disheartened, you are discouraged, then a time will come when the parents also start getting irritated and they scold you. They tell you that why you are not able to gather up courage, why you are so timid, become bold, come on, be courageous, and you get a scolding there. Similarly, earlier the parents of the seagull gave lot of encouragement so that the seagull should start flying. But when they saw that the seagull is behaving like a timid bird, timid means darpok, the seagull is not at all bold and is not able to muster up courage to start flying, then they start scolding the seagull. I am repeating this part again. His father and mother had come around, calling to him shrilly, upbraiding him, that is scolding him, threatening to let him starve on his ledge unless he flew away. Now how did they threaten? What scolding did they give him? The parents said that if you will not fly, if you will not have the courage to fly, then remain sitting here. We will not give you any food and you will have to starve. You will have to sit here hungry. Threatening to let him starve on his ledge unless he flew away. But for the life of him, he could not move. But for the life of him, he could not move. The life of him means he was so scared. He could not risk his life. He was not ready to risk his life. And in order to save his life, he was not ready to fly. He sat there only. He did not move at all. That was 24 hours ago. Since then, nobody had come near him. The day before, all day long, he had watched his parents flying about with his brothers and sister, perfecting them in the art of flight. See what happened now. Pay attention. That was 24 hours ago. Whatever we have read just now, it is the story of the day before, 24 hours ago. Since then, nobody had come near him. Everybody had left the seagull on that cliff. Nobody, neither his parents nor his brothers and sister, nobody came near him. The day before, all day long, he had watched his parents flying about with his brothers and sister, perfecting them in the art of flight, teaching them how to skim the waves. See, the meaning of skim is also given, children. To move lightly just above the surface of the sea. To move lightly just above the surface of the sea. That means in the past day, the parents taught, or you can say the parents tried to make the other brothers and sister of the seagull perfect in flying and being able to skim the waves, touch the waves and fly, touch the waves of the sea, just touch the surface of the sea and then fly high in the sky, and how to dive for the fish. So two things were taught in the past 24 hours to the brothers and sister of the seagull. One was to touch the surface of the sea and rise high in the sky. And then after rising high in the sky, if they see a fish in the sea, then again dive into the sea to catch the fish. He had in fact seen his older brother catch his first herring. Herring is a soft finned, sea fish. So he had in fact seen his older brother catch his first herring, that is the first fish, and devour it. Devour means eat it. Eat its prey. What is the prey here? The fish. Devour it, standing on a rock, while his parents circled around, raising a proud cackle. Cackle is a loud cry. So what did the seagull see? The seagull saw that his older brother could catch his first fish and he could eat his prey. Devour it means he could eat his prey standing on a rock while his parents circled around, raising a proud cackle. That means they were praising him. They were raising a loud cackle means proud cackle. Raising a proud cackle, that means they had a proud feeling. They were praising by shouting loudly. What were they praising? The effort of the seagull's brother catching the fish and being able to eat it. Catching the fish all alone without the help of his parents and being able to eat it. This effort was being praised by the parents of the seagull. And all the morning, the whole family had walked about on the big plateau midway down the opposite cliff, taunting him with his cowardice. And all the morning, The whole family had walked about on the big plateau, midway down at the opposite cliff. Midway down the opposite cliff. That means the parents, the whole family was sitting on the opposite cliff, and what were they doing there? They were taunting, they were criticizing, they were taunting, making fun of the cowardice which was shown by the seagull. What is cowardice? The act of being a coward. Coward means darpok. They called him a coward. The whole family called him a coward because he was not able to muster up courage and try to fly. That is why the whole day the family sat in the cliff which was just in front of that cliff where the seagull was sitting, and they taunted him for his cowardice. The sun was now ascending the sky. Ascending the sky means the sun was rising high in the sky. It was morning time and the sun was rising high in the sky. The sun was now ascending the sky, blazing on his ledge. Blazing means it was shining brightly. The sun was rising and the sun was shining brightly on the ledge where the seagull was sitting. The sun was now ascending the sky, blazing on his ledge that faced the south. The ledge was facing the south, and the rays of the sun, the bright rays of the sun was falling on this ledge. He felt the heat because he had not eaten since the previous nightfall. He felt the heat. Who is he? The seagull. He could feel the heat of the sun rays because he had not eaten since the previous nightfall. Since last night, the previous day also, the seagull was sitting there hungry. The seagull had not eaten anything, and that is why he could experience that heat. He was wide awake, experiencing the heat of the sun. The sun was now ascending the sky, blazing on his ledge that faced the south. He felt the heat because he had not eaten since the previous nightfall. He stepped slowly out to the brink of the ledge. He stepped slowly, the seagull stepped slowly out to the brink, to the edge of that ledge, of that cliff where he was sitting. And standing on one leg with the other leg hidden under his wing. So what did he do? He stepped slowly out to the brink of the ledge and standing on one leg with the other leg hidden under his wing. He closed one eye, then the other, and pretended to be falling asleep. So what did the seagull do just now? He closed one eye and he was pretending that he was sleepy. He was feeling sleepy and he wanted to sleep. Still, they took no notice of him. Who did not take notice? His family, his parents, his brothers and sister. Nobody took notice of him. That means nobody noticed him. Nobody paid attention to him. Still, they took no notice of him. He saw his two brothers and his sister lying on the plateau, dozing with their heads. Dozing means sleeping. Sleeping. Dozing is to sleep. He saw his two brothers and his sister lying on the plateau, dozing with their heads sunk into their necks. His father was preening. Preening means making an effort to maintain feathers. Making an effort to maintain feathers. That means he was soothing his feathers. He was maintaining his feathers while he was sitting and resting. His father was preening the feathers on his white back. The father of the seagull was sitting at this time and he was giving you can say he was soothing his feathers. He was trying to soothe his feathers and give them a maintained look. His father was preening the feathers on his white back. Only his mother was looking at him. Only his mother was looking at whom? At the seagull. She was standing on a little high hump of the plateau. What is hump? A raised mass of land. A rounded raised mass of land is called a hump. So where was the mother? Only his mother was looking at him. She was standing on a little high hump on the plateau. Her white breast thrust forward. Her white breast thrust forward. That means her stomach could be seen clearly. Now and again, she tore at a piece of fish that lay at her feet and then scraped each side of her beak on the rock. Now, just pay attention why the mother is doing this activity. I am reading this again. Now and again, she tore at a piece of fish that lay at her feet and then scraped each side of her beak on the rock. Scraped each side of her beak means she was rubbing. After tearing the piece of fish which she was holding, she rubbed each side of her beak against the rock, on the rock. The sight of food maddened him. Now, here I am asking one question and you can easily guess the answer. The question is, why was the seagull's mother tearing the piece of fish that lay at her feet? Why she was again and again tearing the piece of fish that lay at her feet? The answer is so that she might encourage the seagull to fly and come up to her and eat that piece of fish. Because in the starting of the chapter, you must remember that the mother told that if you are hungry, you will have to fly and get your food. Otherwise, what will happen? If you are hungry and you will not fly, then remain sitting here, starve on the cliff. Nobody will give you food. So in order to, I am reading this part once more. The sight of the food maddened him. How he loved to tear food that way, scraping his beak now and again to wet it. Quickly, I am reading some more lines again so that we can connect to what I read just now. Now and again, she tore at a piece of fish that lay at her feet and then scraped each side of her beak on the rock. So I was telling you that why did the mother again and again, why did the mother tear that piece of fish that lay at her feet? She was doing this so that she could encourage the seagull to fly and come up to her to take that piece of fish as his food. When the seagull saw this sight, that his mother was holding a piece of fish and she was tearing the piece of fish which lay at her feet. When the seagull saw this sight, he became mad, because he also wanted that he should get such a thing, such a prey in his beak and eat it. The sight of the food maddened him. The sight of the food which was with his mother made the seagull mad. Why? Because he was extremely hungry. For the past one day, he had not eaten anything. The seagull was extremely hungry, and as soon as he saw the piece of fish which lay at the mother's feet, he became mad. He became more upset because he was eager, he was desperate to get that as his food. How he loved to tear food that way, scraping his beak now and again to wet it. Scraping means rubbing his beak against the rock to sharpen it. He used to love doing it. He used to love tearing the food with the help of his beak and rubbing his beak against the rock to sharpen it. Ga, 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 he cried, begging her to bring him some food. Ga, 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 he cried. The seagull is looking at his mother and saying, ga, 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 begging her to bring him some food. He is literally now begging his mother to bring some food to him because he was very, very hungry. Ga, kola, she screamed back derisively. Derisively meaning is also given, children, in a manner showing someone that he or she is stupid. When the seagull said ga, ga, ga and begged his mother to bring some food to him, she screamed back and said that the seagull was stupid. But he kept calling plaintively. He kept calling plaintively means sadly, in a sad tone, in a disappointed tone. The seagull kept on calling his mother. And after a minute or so, he uttered a joyful scream. Till this time, his tone was sad, his tone was mournful, his tone was disappointed. But in the next, just after a minute or so, he uttered a joyful scream. Now, in our next class, children, we will continue from here to see why suddenly the seagull made this joyful scream. What change came in him? Did its attitude change? If yes, then how? This we will read in our next class. Okay, children, stay safe. Thank you.